Okay, now we're solving systems of equations using substitution. So the first thing we're going to do is make sure you're on the right handout, which is Unit Systems, homework number 3. So we're going to look at number 1. For number 1, y equals 4x minus 21. So in the place of this y in this equation, we're just going to substitute this entire thing into the first equation. So we have 7x plus y equals 12. So in the place of y, we're going to put 4x minus 21. So 7x plus 4x minus 21 equals 12. So basically where there was a y, we're replacing it with this part of the equation right here. Okay? So we're combining like terms. 7x plus 4x give us 11x minus 21 equals 12. And we're going to add 21 to both sides. So we could do the opposite of a subtracted 21. So 12 plus 21, that's 11x. A negative 21 and a positive 21 cancels out. And it leaves me with 12 plus 21, which is 33. Divide both sides by the coefficient 11. Therefore, x equals 3. Now that we have the value of x, we're going to substitute that into this equation to find the value of y. So we have y equals 4 times 3 minus 21. Y equals 12 minus 21. Therefore, y equals negative 9. Therefore, our solution is 3, negative 9. So this is my solution. Okay? Hope you have any questions about that first one. Let's take a look at the second one. So the second one, again, in place of y, we're going to replace it into this y. Because there's a 3 on the outside of the y, we have to use a distributive property. So using that first equation, we have 2x plus 3 times the quantity, negative 6x minus 2, equals 18. Now we have to distribute this 3 to both terms. So it gives me 2x plus 3 times negative 6x minus 3 times 2 equals 18. So when I simplify, they give me 2x plus a negative 18x minus 6 equals 18. Combine like terms, a positive and a negative, you subtract. Takes the sign of the larger absolute value, so that's negative 16x minus 6 equals 18. We want to add 6 to both sides so that we can isolate that variable. So that gives me negative 16x. A negative 6 and a positive 6 cancels out. And 18 plus 6 is 24. So we want to divide both sides by negative 16. And we divide both sides by negative 16. You're left with x equals 24 over negative 16. The number that divides into both with no remainder is 8. Therefore, you get negative 3 divided by 2, which is a negative 1 1/2. Now we have to find the value of y. Since we know that x equals negative 3/2, we're going to substitute that into this equation. In place of x, we're going to substitute it right here. So it gives me y equals negative 6 times the value of x, which is negative 3/2, minus 2. When I multiply fractions, I want to multiply the numerator, so that's negative 6 times a negative 3 over the denominator, which is 2, minus 2. A negative times a negative is a positive 18 divided by 2, minus 2. Therefore, y equals 18 divided by 2 is 9. 9 minus 2 is 7. Therefore, my solution, remember, your solution is in the form of x comma y. So x equals negative 1.5 and y equals 7. So this is my solution to this system of equations. Number 3, we have to put one of these in slope-intercept form. So I'm going to do this with the second equation by subtracting 8x from both sides. And this leaves me with negative y equals negative 8x plus 16. I'm going to divide everything by negative 1 so I can get y by itself. And therefore, that leaves me with y equals positive 8x minus 16. So now that I have that for the value of y, I'm going to substitute it back into my original equation, which is this equation here. So in place of y, I'm going to replace this with 8x minus 16. Okay, so I'm going to do that on the side over here. Negative 3x plus 1/4. And my y is 8x minus 16 equals negative 8. So it gives me negative 3x plus 1/4. When I distribute this 1/4 times 8x minus 1/4 times 16, that equals negative 8. Well, when I multiply 1/4 times 8, that's the same thing as dividing it by 4. Okay, so that gives me 8x divided by 4 minus 1/4 times 16 is 16 over 4 equals negative 8. Now I want to simplify. This is negative 3x plus 8x divided by 4 is 2x. 16 divided by 4 is 4 equals negative 8. Combine like terms. Unlike signs, you subtract and take the sign of the larger absolute value. This is minus 4 equals negative 8. Now I want to add 4 to both sides so I can combine like terms. Once you add 4 to both sides, that gives you negative 1x equals a negative 4. Now I want to divide both sides by negative 1. Therefore, x equals positive 4. Now that I have positive 4 for x, I want to substitute that back into my original equation. I can actually substitute it back in here into this equation. So if x equals 4, multiply 8 times 4. So I have y equals 8 times 4 minus 16. That gives me 32 minus 16, which equals 16. So therefore, x equals 4, y equals 16. So the solution to the equation is 4/16. I'm going to replace x with this part of the equation. Okay, so that gives me 11 times negative 5y minus 6 plus 9y equals negative 20. I use the distributive property. That gives me 11 times negative 5y minus 11 times 6 plus 9y equals negative 20. When I multiply, that gives me negative 55y minus 66 plus 9y equals negative 20. When I combine my like terms, negative 55 and a positive 9, that gives me a negative 46y minus 66 equals negative 20. I want to now add 66 to both sides. So when I add 66 to both sides, this gives me negative 46y equals a positive 46. Divide both sides by negative 46. Therefore, y equals negative 1. Now that I have the value for y equals negative 1, I'm going to substitute it back into this equation that I just used, which is this one. Okay. So since y equals negative 1, this is going to be x equals negative 5 times y, which is negative 1, minus 6. So therefore, it gives me x equals a negative times a negative is a positive 5 minus 6. Therefore, x equals negative 1. So my solution is negative 1, negative 1. All right. Here, I want to solve for y. So I'm going to add 2x to both sides. And this gives me y equals positive 2x plus 8. Now I'm going to take this and substitute it into the second equation. So I have 1/2 x plus 3 times y. And my y is 2x plus 8. All I did was replace the y and the 3 for the y for 2x plus 8. Now I'm going to distribute. Have 1/2 x plus 3 times 2x plus 3 times 8. Set that equal to 50. So now I have 1/2 x plus 6x plus 24 equals 50. When I combine like terms, this gives me 6.5 x plus 24 equals 50. I now want to subtract 24 from both sides. That gives me 6.5 x equals 26. If I make this an improper fraction, remember you multiply, add, keep the same denominator. So 6 times 2 is 12. 12 plus 1 is 13. That's 13/2 x equals 26. In order to get x by itself, you want to multiply both sides by the reciprocal, which would be 2 over 13. And if I put this over 1, this will cancel out, and it leaves me with x equals 52 over 13. Therefore, x equals 4. 52 divided by 13 equals 4. Now that I know x equals 4, I'm going to substitute that back into the original equation. Y equals 2 times 4 plus 8. So y equals 8 plus 8, which is 16. So therefore, my solution is x equals 4 and y equals 16. All right. Here, I have y equals 5/3 x plus 6. I'm going to substitute that into equation 1. So this entire thing will be substituted for that y. So we have 5x minus 3 times the quantity, 5/3 x plus 6 equals -4. So we have 5x minus 3 times 5 divided by 3x plus a -3 times 6 equals -4. And remember that -3 is distributed, so that's what we did. So that gives me 5x minus 15/3 x plus a -18 equals -4. When we simplify this, this gives me 5x minus 5x plus -18 equals -4. This cancels because 5x minus 5x is 0, and I'm left with -18 equals -4. This is a false statement, therefore is no solution. The next S says a piggy bank holds $4.40 in quarters and dimes. There are 20 coins in the bank. Let X be the number of dimes and Y be the number of quarters. Find the number of each coin in the bank. Okay, so this first equation, we want to find slope-intercept form. So we're going to subtract X from both sides. So it gives me Y equals 20 minus X. But if I put this in slope-intercept form, this is Y equals MX plus B. So now we're going to substitute the value of Y into the second equation. So we have 10/100 X plus 25/100 Y, and my Y is -X plus 20 equals $4.40. And I'm going to distribute that 25/100. So when I do that, that gives me 25/100 times -X plus 25/100 times 20. And that equals $4.40. Now I'm going to simplify from left to right. That gives me 10/100 X plus a -25/100 X plus 25/100 is the same as 1/4. I'll write that up here. 25/100 is the same as 1/4. So 1/4 of 20 is the number 5 equals $4.40. When I combine like terms, this gives me a -15/100 X plus 5 equals $4.40. Now I want to subtract 5 from each side so I can get all my constants on one side. 5 minus 5 equals $4.40 minus 5. So that gives me 15/100 X equals -60/100. Divide both sides by -15/100 X, or -15/100, I'm sorry, no X. And therefore, X equals 4. Now the value of X equals 4, I'm going to substitute it back into this first equation up here, which I'm going to write on this side. I don't have enough room over there. So since X equals 4, I'm going to use the equation Y equals -X plus 20. So Y equals -4 plus 20. Therefore, Y equals 16. So my solution for XY, X equals 4, Y equals 16. So this is my solution. This X is the number of dimes, and Y is the number of quarters. So to answer the question, there are 4 dimes, and there are 16 quarters. Rose is mailing a package of magazines and chips to her kids at camp. The package weighs a total of 9 pounds and has 14 items inside. The magazines each weigh 1 pound and the chips each weigh a half a pound. How many magazines X and chips Y is Rose mailing in the package? Okay, this first equation, we're going to put it in slope-intercept form, which is Y is negative X plus 14. And now we're going to substitute into the second equation, X plus 1/2 times Y, which is negative X plus 14, equals 9. We do the distributive property. That's X plus 1/2 times negative X plus 1/2 times 14 equals 9. So we have X plus a negative 0.5X. Half of 14 is 7 equals 9. So X is the same as 1X. So 1X plus a negative half give you a half of X. Plus 7 equals 9. We're going to subtract 7 from both sides to bring all of our constants to the same side. Therefore, we have a half X equals positive 2. Divide both sides by 1/2. So there are 4 halves inside of 2. Therefore, X equals 4. So we're going to substitute into the original equation. And I'm going to move this over here. So I have Y equals negative X plus 14. Remember, X equals 4. So in place of 4, we're going to put, in place of negative X, we're going to put 4. So Y equals negative 4 plus 14. Therefore, Y equals 10. So let's go back and answer the questions. You had X magazines and Y chips. Okay, so to answer the question, Rosie, she was mailing 4 magazines. And 10 chips. And again, her solution is 4, 10. So let's go back to the very top. And it says solve each system of equation using substitution. 3 of the systems have a solution of 416. Unscramble the letters of those 3 systems to create a secret code. Okay. So what is the secret code? So here's one letter, a U. A second letter is a B. And the third letter is a S. I want you to uncover the secret code and turn in your homework for a grade. All work must be shown. Your code must be correct for the secret code. And this will be worth, you have 2 parts to each question. So this is worth 16 homework points. 16 points. Plus 1 bonus point for the correct secret code. Okay? So a total of 17 out of 16 will give you a bonus point. All right, thanks for watching. Turn in your work.